This is what the media is highlighting because whether you guys like it or not, Caitlin Clark is the reason that a lot of these new fans are watching the WNBA. And anybody saying, oh, it's the rookie class, no, it's not. It's Caitlin Clark.
And then they hit to the ground, like, excessive. Like, it is without question unnecessary and excessive.
It is officially official. Chennedy Carter is an unrestricted free agent in the WNBA.
Chennedy Carter is a hell of a scorer in a league that struggles mightily from scoring. She scored over 17 points a game. She was arguably the Chicago Sky's best player last year. And I mean, I don't know what's going to be a wake-up call. I would hope Chennedy Carter would turn her focus of all of her anger into something positive and she would become a great WNBA player. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen this season. And she will be playing professional basketball during the season, but it won't be for the WNBA.
When Chennedy Carter crossed the line with Caitlin Clark last season, it set off a chain reaction no one could undo. Fast forward to today. After more than 120 days of total silence from WNBA teams, Carter isn't reporting to training camp. Instead, she's heading south, officially signing with Adelitas de Chihuahua in Mexico's top women's basketball league. Once seen as a star in the making, Carter's move marks more than just a relocation. It's the moment her WNBA dream quietly slipped away. And behind it all is one split-second decision that reshaped her entire future.
Seriously, she needs to do whatever she can to get some help, get her anger under control, where she will not have another incident like the one where she slammed into Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's got to do something because she is very talented.
At first glance, it might seem like just another player finding a new team. But Carter's exit from the WNBA is anything but normal. This was the leading scorer for the Chicago Sky, a player who lit up the scoreboard night after night. And yet, her team chose to cut ties without even a whisper of negotiation, no trade, no qualifying offer, no second chances. And despite dominating overseas this past winter, the message was clear. No WNBA team was willing to take the risk. Something deeper was driving this silence. Something far bigger than points per game.
Despite the solid fourth season from Carter, an incident with Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark stood out to many. The 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year came in the league, became arguably the most popular player. There, I cleaned it up for you, which may have rubbed some people the wrong way, including Carter.
It all traces back to a night that was supposed to be just another regular season battle. June 1st, 2024, Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever. Two teams, one tight game, and a final score that would fade into memory, or so everyone thought. The Fever edged out a tense 71-70 victory. But it wasn't the scoreboard that people would remember. Buried in the middle of that contest was a moment so jarring, so emotionally charged, it would go on to change careers and spark a league-wide debate about respect, rivalry, and reputation.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
The play seemed ordinary at first, just players jogging up court after a basket. But in a split second, the game's temperature spiked. Chennedy Carter, moving up the floor, suddenly broke her natural route, cutting hard into Caitlin Clark's path with a calculated hip check that sent Clark flying. There was no ball involved, no defensive excuse, just pure, unnecessary contact. And if that wasn't enough, Angel Reese, already a rising star in her own right, was caught on camera cheering wildly from the sideline, adding another layer to the already combustible moment.
So she was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Weatherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and, the rest of the folks. And then we get to the body check. This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue. And it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's part.
The collision froze the arena. Not a tough play, not an aggressive box out. Something about it felt wrong immediately. Fans gasped, commentators stumbled over their words, and the referees wasted no time blowing the whistle. At first, the officials tried to call it a regular foul, but nobody watching, either in person or at home, believed it should end there. After a huddled replay review and waves of online outrage, the call was upgraded to a flagrant one, officially citing non-basketball conduct that posed an unnecessary danger to Clark. The verdict was clear. This wasn't heat-of-the-moment aggression. It was something more deliberate, and it would be the beginning of Carter's long downfall.
It's one thing pushing Caitlin Clark, and it's another thing blindsiding her. Like, I don't think there's no justification for that. Like, to be honest, we can be honest here.
What stood out even more than the hit itself was what happened next. While the crowd buzzed and replays played on every screen, Caitlin Clark didn't react like most rookies would. No shouting, no glares. She just picked herself up, dusted off her jersey, and got right back to the game. It was a moment of incredible composure, especially compared to Carter's emotional burst. And that sharp contrast between Clark's calmness and Carter's aggression started to reshape how the entire situation was viewed. Overnight, fans and analysts abandoned stats and game analysis, instead zooming in frame by frame to ask, was Carter's move personal, or was it jealousy at seeing a rookie soak up so much attention?
Something's got to wake her up too, you know? I mean, something's got to wake her up and say, man, I could be in the WNBA right now, starting on a team, being their leading scorer. I've got to get my temper and my head under control. I got to figure it out somehow.
In that 5-second window, Chennedy Carter's entire career path veered off course. She didn't realize it, neither did Caitlin Clark. Neither did the millions of fans watching live. But that single shove was more than just a bad decision. It was the first domino to fall in a series of events that would eventually leave Carter on the outside looking in. A career that once held promise was now suddenly marked by a single, ugly moment that no team could unsee.
There's no doubt Chennedy Carter's extremely talented, but she's got to get her head screwed on straight. Maybe this is a wake-up call.
And if the physical hit wasn't enough to damage Carter's reputation, her words after the game practically set it ablaze. The cameras stayed rolling, microphones in hand, giving Carter the perfect opportunity to clear the air, maybe even salvage her public image. A simple apology, even a vague acknowledgement of emotions running high, could have hit the brakes on the outrage. But instead, she made a choice that would pour gasoline on an already burning fire.
That she knocked Caitlin Clark to the floor. We all saw it, a flagrant foul, and many people, including myself, thought it was borderline assault. It was awful.
As reporters gathered for the post-game press conference, every camera pointed at Carter, giving her the stage to reshape the story. This was her chance to pivot, to frame the incident as heat-of-the-moment competition. Instead, when asked about Caitlin Clark, Carter gave a cold, dismissive answer. "I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions." 7 words that echoed across social media, sports networks, and front offices like a warning bell. In that moment, any goodwill she might have salvaged evaporated, and the narrative shifted from a tough play to a serious character concern.
And then Chennedy just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was that play, what was said, and kind of what led to.
Next question.
Yeah, like it seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough. We're good.
Those 7 words spread faster than any highlight clip. Analysts who might have defended the on-court hip check now shook their heads. Carter's refusal to even acknowledge the incident painted her as reckless, unprofessional, and unrepentant, the exact kind of reputation that kills careers. The hit alone had been controversial, but the post-game attitude lit a wildfire that raged for days. Instead of it being just another physical game moment, Carter's attitude turned it into a full-blown public relations disaster.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, calm down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And I feel like that's kind of what we did, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
What made Carter's handling of the situation even more damaging was the stark contrast to Caitlin Clark's own response. While Carter dodged questions and hardened public opinion against herself, Clark took the high road. Speaking calmly to reporters, Clark said, "Basketball's competitive. I get it. Emotions get the best of you. It's happened to me too. No blame, no outrage. Just professionalism and maturity from a 22-year-old rookie under enormous scrutiny." The comparison couldn't have been clearer, and it made Carter's behavior seem even worse to fans, executives, and future employers watching closely.
And there has not been a peep about anywhere that she could be landing in this free agency. So a lot of people, including myself, are wondering, is she worth the risk now?
Pretty soon, the problem wasn't just angry fans venting online, it was executives and league officials paying attention. In professional sports, raw talent will always open doors, But when leadership and chemistry are just as important as athleticism, bad optics start closing them fast. Instead of teams asking, can she play? They started asking, is she worth the baggage? Inside the Chicago Sky locker room, Carter's dismissive attitude after the Clark incident caused real fractures. Players and coaches, already dealing with a tense season, found themselves questioning whether they could move forward with her in the building.
I mean, she can score. She can score with the lights out. I mean, she can. She's pure offense, a pure shooting guard, scoring guard. Instant offense. But if you're a team, do you really want her on the team? I wouldn't.
Behind closed doors, the fallout only worsened. Reports surfaced that locker room chemistry inside the Sky had been shattered by Carter's refusal to take accountability. Basketball is, at its core, a team-first sport, and when one player refuses to own their mistakes, trust starts to crumble fast. Faced with a fractured locker room and growing media scrutiny, the Chicago Sky made a dramatic decision. They let Carter walk in free agency without even offering a new contract. And when no other team showed even the slightest interest, it became clear that her reputation had spiraled far beyond repair. One anonymous GM didn't mince words, saying, "We wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole."
Can you break down that situation that happened?
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking, what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, you know, that's a part of basketball.
For nearly a full year, Carter stayed silent, refusing to publicly address the incident that cost her everything. That changed last week. Appearing on controversial podcaster Neon's show, Carter finally broke her silence, but instead of a sincere reflection, she offered something shocking. According to Carter, the infamous hit on Clark, she brushed it off as just a little tap. A love tap, she insisted, between competitors. This casual rewriting of history only deepened the skepticism around her, because anyone who saw the footage knows it was a deliberate shot, not an accidental bump.
I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said, and then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. And then we go down the court, then I hit like a little bucket, you feel me? Come down, hit like a little nice little mid-range pull-up. And then I just like, you know, just give her like a little like, I'm here. Like, you know, I don't think it was, you know what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like, I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him.
You almost have to admire the commitment to denial. After months of silence, Carter didn't come back with an apology. She came back with a story no one believed. The replay shows it clearly. Carter changing her route, lowering her shoulder, and making sure Clark went flying. Trying to downplay that as a casual brush in the chaos of a game only made things worse. Instead of looking mature or misunderstood, Carter came off as someone still refusing to own the truth. And by waiting so long to speak, and then offering an explanation that felt disconnected from reality, Carter only reinforced every bad perception that had built up since June.
So I'm just like, it's like one of those things, like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing, it's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like it's just one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to
you
put out.
watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like harm you or anything. You know, if you want to push somebody, you're gonna like full force.
The timing of Carter's sudden light tap explanation raised even more eyebrows. Why speak out now? After nearly a year of silence, it didn't take a genius to figure it out. With WNBA doors firmly closed, Carter seemed desperate to rehab her image just enough to land somewhere, anywhere. But the half-hearted apology, so late and so out of sync with reality, only deepened the sense that she still wasn't taking real responsibility. Instead of opening new opportunities, Carter's attempt at damage control backfired, locking in the doubts about her character even tighter.
I mean, that happens, man. Like, it's one of those things. I'm a great player, she's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's gonna have their views on it. But my personal view is, you know, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season, you know what I'm saying? So Just one of those things that, I love it though. They think I hate it. I love it. I love when it gets riled up and juicy like that.
You feed off of like what people say and shit, and it makes you more
motivated.
motivated.
That's what I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I love the hate. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's the real tragedy here. Nobody questions Chennedy Carter's talent. Not for a second. Her 17.5 points per game last season were a career high. On paper, she should have been one of the hottest free agents heading into 2025, but basketball has always been about more than just points. It's about trust, chemistry, and dependability. The flagrant foul, the post-game defiance, the late revisionist history. All of it combined to make Carter toxic in the eyes of GMS, who had once admired her scoring ability.
She did. She stopped and went through. That is not... We watched the clip. There is no way that we're letting this happen. Saying that it was nothing. This is not just a tap.
In the WNBA, chemistry isn't just a buzzword, it's survival. Teams thrive not just on talent, but on unity, communication, and shared purpose. And that's where Carter's problems became impossible to overlook. Bringing her into a locker room wouldn't just mean adding a scorer, it would mean adding a risk. Would she listen to coaching? Would she react poorly to tough criticism? Would another emotional outburst derail the team's season? The uncertainty was too big for teams to gamble on, no matter how many points she could rack up.
This is crazy, and this changes everything. Because all this time, we've been waiting on Chennedy Carter to take responsibility for what she did to Caitlin Clark. It shows me, I ain't even got to watch all this footage right here, but I am going to look at it. But it's showing me right now that she still is not taking responsibility for her actions. She's finna blame this whole situation on Caitlin Clark supposedly talking smack to her.
Truth be told, Carter's issues didn't start with Caitlin Clark. The warning signs were flashing long before that fateful June night. Back in 2021, when Carter played for the Atlanta Dream, she was suspended midway through the season for what the team vaguely called conduct detrimental to the team. It wasn't a minor fine or a benching, it was a major suspension that rattled the entire organization. Although specifics were never officially released, insiders hinted at arguments with teammates and coaches, behavior that disrupted the locker room, and a refusal to fully buy into team dynamics. For executives across the league, that first suspension planted the seed of doubt that would grow over the next 3 years.
Atlanta Dream did suspend her in the middle of the sophomore season, basically saying she was a detriment to the team and the team culture. So then the Atlanta Dream decided to trade her to the Sparks, the Los Angeles.
After Atlanta, Carter found a second chance with the Los Angeles Sparks, but history started repeating itself fast. Despite her natural scoring ability, reports quietly surfaced that her playing time was being cut for reasons unrelated to performance. Translation, behind-the-scenes issues were once again getting in the way. Sources hinted at attitude problems, clashes with coaches, and struggles to fit into the team system. The Sparks, desperate to build chemistry and stability, gradually phased her out. By the time Carter landed in Chicago, the whispers had grown louder, and patience across the league was wearing thin.
I mean, good luck. Good luck. I don't know who's going to take her. I don't know what teams are going to take her. No, I don't think she's going to the Indiana Fever. I mean, yeah, bring her in after what happened. I don't think so.
By the time Carter put on a Chicago Sky jersey, her reputation had already taken a heavy hit. Inside WNBA circles, what used to be whispers about attitude problems had grown into a full-blown red flag. And no matter how good her numbers looked, 14.6 points per game on 47.3% shooting, teams were more wary than ever. One executive didn't hold back when asked about Carter's future, bluntly calling her radioactive. It's a rare and damning label for any player, but especially for one with Carter's offensive gift. In a league where scoring is gold, it spoke volumes that GMs were willing to pass, even at a time when teams desperately needed firepower.
During the 2024 WNBA season, guard Chennedy Carter emerged as a key player for the Chicago Sky, leading the team in scoring with 17.5 points per game, a career high. That's right. She would still be probably their best pure offensive weapon if she was still on that team. Now, there's a world where Camila Cardoso, and I've said this, will be their best player this year, provided they allow her to ball, or provided Angel Reese gets the hell out of the way, one of the two.
If anyone doubted how far Carter's stock had fallen, the end of her 2024 season with the Sky erased all uncertainty. Despite leading her team in scoring, playing in a career-high 33 games, and posting personal bests across the board, the Sky chose not to even extend a qualifying offer. Think about that. They let their top scorer walk away for nothing. It wasn't about salary caps or rebuilding strategies, it was about culture. The message was unmistakable. No amount of points could outweigh the concerns about locker room disruption, leadership, and public image. Even more damning, none of the other 11 WNBA teams stepped up to offer her a spot either.
Fast forward to Friday, Carter, who saw her one-year deal with the Sky come to an end, has yet to sign with the WNBA team. With training camp right around the corner, Carter has elected to join a different league as she awaits another shot at the WNBA. Chennedy Carter has taken her talents to the Mexican, and I'm not even trying to pronounce that, the LMBPF. Long story short, it's in Mexico, and it looks like a women's Mexican basketball league, professional basketball league.
After over 120 days of complete free agency silence, Carter's WNBA chapter officially closed. With no offers on the table, she signed with Adelitas de Chihuahua in Mexico's LNBPF, marking a steep drop from the WNBA's global stage. The Mexican club proudly welcomed her on Instagram, celebrating her scoring talent and embracing her as a centerpiece for their team. But for Carter, the move represents far more than a new beginning. It's a dramatic shift from being part of the premier women's basketball league in the world to trying to rebuild her career on a much smaller stage. A bittersweet restart, but one born out of necessity, not choice.
She's joining a women's basketball league in Mexico. The WNBA thing looks like a wrap for her for now. And in case you're wondering, she averaged 17.5 points a game last year and literally shot 50% from the field for the Chicago Sky. And she's 26 years old. I get it. I mean, she's got to lay in the bed she made.
Carter won't be making this journey alone. Joining her south of the border is Victoria Vivians, a veteran guard who spent 6 seasons with the Indiana Fever before a brief stint with the Seattle Storm. For Carter, the Mexican League offers a clean slate, a chance to reclaim her dominance and remind people why she was once a top draft pick. There's no doubt her skills will shine at this level. The real question is whether success abroad can ever rewrite the reputation she left behind in the WNBA. Will this be a temporary layover or the final destination?
And I mean, I don't know what's going to be a wake-up call. I would hope Chennedy Carter would turn her focus of all of her anger into something positive and she would become a great WNBA player. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen this season.
The message from the WNBA is louder than ever. Talent isn't enough anymore. The league is evolving, raising the bar not just for athleticism, but for professionalism, leadership, and accountability. Chennedy Carter's departure to Mexico is more than just a personal setback. It's a sign of the new WNBA era taking shape. Today's league demands the full package, skill and character. Anything less, and even the most gifted players can find themselves pushed to the sidelines.
Chennedy Carter, she got a new job. Adios, amigos.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are telling a completely different story. The Fever are smashing attendance records, merchandise sales are booming, and Clark's name is everywhere, on jerseys, in headlines, and across social media. Her jersey sales alone have helped drive a jaw-dropping 11 times increase in WNBA player merchandise revenue. Clark's professionalism, star power, and composure aren't just lifting her own brand, they're elevating the entire league. While Carter rebuilds her career across the border, Clark is helping reshape the WNBA's future, setting a new standard for what the league wants its stars to embody. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Will we ever see Chennedy Carter again in the WNBA? Or is this really the end? Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another update. Click the video on your screen and we'll see you in the next one.